guys, I'm sure you've heard about CA, Chartered Accountancy, but have you guys heard about US CPA? Well, in this video, I'm here to tell you all about it. For starters, CPA or a Certified Public Accountant is a professional degree that gives you a title of a qualified accountant. Basically, to put it into simpler words, a CA in India is a CPA in US. Then why do a CPA, you might think, right? So for a lot of clients that work in the US and a lot of companies that are based out of the US, they require tax laws, other laws, and also standards of auditing and reporting that are according to the US laws, right? A CA wouldn't help you get that kind of a professional qualification and expertise. So to meet their requirements, we need to do a CPA. A CPA would probably help you get into areas like auditing, taxation, consulting, and it gives you an in-depth knowledge of accounting, which is something a lot of Big Fours are looking for. A CPA is predominantly recognized in the United States, but now because of the emerging market in India and the exams also happening in India, there's a lot of opportunities in India and it's very in demand. It also gives a lot of job opportunities in Canada. So it's a very good course to pursue in this hot market. If you're wondering whether you are the right candidate to do CPA or not, or whether or not you are eligible to do it, I would personally recommend you do an eligibility test before you get into the path of doing a CPA. I'll tell you why this is important, because there are so many states, 52, you know that, right? So all of the states have different requirements to sit for the exam, different requirements to get the licensure. And having done CPA recently and passing all the 4 sections, I have realized the nitty-gritties of these eligibility requirements can be a huge bottleneck for you. So to determine the right state, you should know the eligibility requirements, and we at Proschool can help you determine which state is best for you and counsel you throughout this process. For some typical states and the most easier states for Indian students to get into, by the way, we measure all of your requirements in credits. So for the most easier states for Indian students, the number of credits that you will require to sit for the CPA examination would be 120. There are also accounting and business credit requirements that can be looked into, but the major requirement that you would need is 120 credits. Here in India, a year of Indian education is counted as 30 credits. So for example, if you've done graduation in suppose commerce, then you would have had a 3-year education, which would give you around 90 credits. So to get to that 120 credit mark, you might have to take an additional year of education, maybe a master's, or we at Proschool can also give you a course which can help you fulfill those credit requirements. Apart from this, to get your licensure, there would be another requirement which would be 150 credits. Apart from these credits, you would also require things like qualified work experience, maybe an ethics exam, but like I told you earlier already, a lot of states have a lot of different requirements. So a good counseling to choose which state you should go to will help you go a long way. If you've come this far in the video and know that you're eligible and maybe have decided that you want to do a CPA, then my logical next step would be to tell you how to get your CPA licensure. The 4 essential E's to get your CPA would be education, experience, examination, and ethics. The first E would be education. And to talk about education, I think the first thing that you should know is there are 4 sections to the CPA exam. When I talk about a section is essentially one paper that you can take at one time. It's a 4.5-hour paper, including breaks and quiz timings. These papers have to be taken at the Prometric test centers. These centers are luckily now operational in India across 8 cities. I personally gave my exams in Bombay, and the Prometric test center is located at Goregaon. A little too far for me because I stay in Navi Mumbai, but we could make it work. The 4 sections are FAR, Audit, BEC and Reg. So you can see across these 4 sections, you get an in-depth knowledge of all accounting standards, business and environmental concepts, which include a lot of costing concepts, economics, financial management. So a pretty thorough course to go through, right? I would suggest, by my personal experience, give enough time for each section, prepare well for every section, because each section requires a lot of money to give, by the way, but also a lot of perseverance, and nobody likes failing a section, right? So prepare well for each section and be confident when you go and give the exam. So the next section that we'll talk about will be the examination. So where should you study for CPA, right? How should you study? From where should you study? Those are questions that I myself was very intrigued with, and tricky for me also, right? Because being an Indian student, having studied in Indian institutes all my life, I think moving to a US degree was a bit challenging. So on personal experience and gaining whatever information I could, I think the most logical training institutes would be Becker, Wiley, You Roger. These are the ones that I've heard most about, and personally I also used Becker for my education. Now these are self-study modules that you can apply for and purchase a license. They'll give you a module and an LMS, and then you can study on your own. But for Indian students, when it becomes a little difficult to manage your schedule and you want some personalized training, you can go for a lot of Indian institutes that are available. We at Proschool, since we're also providing the Becker LMS and live classes, it'll be the best of both worlds, right? If you want to stay focused and want a study group around you, live classes would be the best bet. Also, we will provide you counseling, which will help you go a long way, because there are a lot of important decisions that you have to make. Which state to go in, also which material you should use, how long you should study, when you should schedule your examination. All of these important decisions will make you go a long way. Apart from this, we also provide with placement assistance. So if you're looking a job within India after doing CPA, we can help you with that. We will also assist you with the entire examination process from start to end, so that if you have any problems with your registration or with the board of examination, we can help you out with that. The next E for us would be examination. So I've already given you a brief, but there are 4 sections, each of 4.5 hours approximately, and they are a combination of MCQs and simulation exams. Now we're going to make a detailed video for you about examination, each subject, and what to do, how to prepare an exam, tricks and tips. So make sure you subscribe to our channel and keep an eye out for those videos. These exams are going to be held one in a day. If you're lucky, you can take 2 exams in a day, but that depends on how your Prometric allows you to schedule those exams. An important discussion point here would be the time frame in which you have to pass all of your sections. Now your time starts ticking from the moment you pass your first section. Within 18 months of passing your first section, you must complete all of the remaining 3 sections. Otherwise, you will lose credits for your first section and will have to retake that section. Now you don't want that, right? So you make sure that you're well prepared enough and keep enough gap, but also not too much, so that you pass it within an 18-month period. Now this 18 months is going to get changed into 24 months, but that also depends on the state you're giving it from. So for new updates and the new course structure, which is going to be applicable from Jan 2024, we will also make a separate video for you so that you can refer to that course update if you're already enrolled in the existing course. For our next E, we have experience. Now experience is a vital element for you to get to your licensure point, right? So once you've given the examination and you've passed all of them, then your next process would be to apply for your licensure, which will give you an opportunity to practice in the state that you apply for your licensure in. So once you give your examination, you move on to getting your experience. Now this experience would depend on the state that you're pursuing your license in, but could range from 1 to 3 years. After that, our 4th E will be our ethics examination, right? Now all states do not require this ethics examination, but most do. So keep an eye out on your state board for the requirements that they need for licensure, so that if you require an ethics exam, you must take it. So now let's recap all of the steps in this process. So first, you get your education, right? That's most important. But simultaneously, you must also apply for your evaluation so that we can get yourself evaluated and register you with the state board. After you've done your evaluation and registered with the state board, you can now start taking the examinations. So schedule your examinations one by one and pass them all within the 18 or 24 month period that I mentioned earlier. After that, you gain your relevant work experience and give your ethics examination and biometrics if it's needed. Then all you have to do is apply for your licensure. Now, after you've done your CPA, the next thing you do is find jobs. Now, if you're looking for jobs in India, let me tell you something. Big Fours are the biggest employers for CPAs because they get the most international clients and require the most amount of CPAs. Apart from the Big Fours, Grant Thornton, BDO, Baker Tilly, a lot of these consulting firms also require CPAs to handle their international clients. In the US, well, in the US, everybody wants to hire a CPA, right? Why not? The starting salary for a CPA in India would be somewhere around 6 to 8 lakhs, which, let me tell you, is at par with a chartered accountant. The starting salary for a CPA in US would be somewhere around $60,000 to $70,000. But this is very dependent upon the state. In states like New York and Chicago, you might get a starting salary of up to $100,000. 6 figures that easy, isn't that great? But even in India, because of so many MNCs trying to outsource their work to India, a lot of opportunities for CPAs are being created. Talking about the fees for this course, this fee is broken up into several parts. There's a separate fee for evaluation, for giving the exams, and if you are planning to give these exams from an international center such as India, there would be an international testing fee. But don't worry, all these fees combined would cost you around 2.5 lakh rupees and maybe another 1 lakh for training. So in a totality, the fee for CPA would be around 3.5 lakh to 4 lakh rupees, which might be cheaper than some of the other accounting courses available to you. If you want to know more about the training fee and all of the other services that we can provide to you, you can visit the link given in our description box below. If you want to know more about my personal experiences with CPA and what all I went through, you can comment down below. And if you like these videos, subscribe to our channel and I'll see you in the next video.